Well, hell. Welcome back to Tech Travel and Twang. Welcome back to Tech Travel and Twang, our Tuesday Tea edition. I'm Jen Barbie with my co-host Kristen Cruz. Hi, Kristen.
Hello, Jennifer Barbie.
And we are here staring at August in 2024. Can you believe it?
I'm so I'm just baffled at how fast this year, actually this month, like where did July go?
That's true,
It's
right?
it actually did start off as like the slowest month ever because the kids are home from school, so it's like summer and it's like, for those of us that work from home, it's like, a circus. But then all of a sudden it was like, boom, we're done with July. And I'm like, wait, I wasn't ready.
I
I
know it's
wasn't ready.
crazy. And we were talking a little earlier, and you're talking about your kids running around. And I'm like, why are they out of school today? I keep forgetting.
Your kids get, oh, we have like 8 years of summer, and your kids have like 8 minutes of summer. It's really weird. Between that and then the weirdness that we have to deal with when daylight saving time rolls around is just,
It
craziness.
is. It is. But I think there's going to be more schools doing the kind of slightly year round like we are here in Arizona, which could be really good for the travel industry because it flattens a lot of, you're not trying to get everything into summer because you don't have that much summer, but you have
Yeah,
all these long breaks during the year.
I know. I really do wish that we had more because who wants to travel when the majority of the country is like 110 degrees? Like it's not, we need a fall break. Like I need to figure out how I go and advocate for this freaking state to do more fall breaks because
Girl,
that
the
is
fall break is my favorite break. They get 2 weeks off in fall and 2 weeks for spring, but the fall one's the best because it's October, it's right before the holidays start. Like that is my favorite break they take.
because it's such a perfect travel time. Like you can get to so many places. It's
Mhm.
the temperature's mild. It's not like a crazy amount of people. You're not fighting in lines. The traffic isn't nuts. I don't know. But then if you do all that, then fall becomes a summer 2.0. So who knows? Like we're just kind of rolling with it at this point. Who knows? But yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, but we have 2 more weeks and these kids go back to school, and then mama is going to be real productive again. Like my head will be on straight in the mornings. I can, so that's the struggle bus we're on.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of a lot of people are dealing with that. And also, like you mentioned, there's so much travel going on right now. I think we hit like the record on air travel July 4th weekend, like
Yes,
bigger
it's
than
record
history.
road trip travel, it's record air travel, it's record international travel. There's protests going on because of over tourism. It's like people are like, get out of my hometown. I'm done with y'all. It's just because, it's funny. I saw this stat that was kind of crazy, but it makes sense. This
Mhm.
was like from last year, but they kind of keep updating it. It's basically a stat about the amount of people in the US, people that travel in the US, live in the US, the amount of debt they are willing to absorb and go
Oh
into.
yeah.
And it's like upwards of 25 to 30% of people are like, you know what? I'll go into debt just to take a vacation. Like, I'm not going to sacrifice my travel and like my relaxation and get away from the world. And it's really funny too. A lot of them say, a lot of those that go into debt don't have travel budgets. Like, don't put a budget on when they're like, yeah, let's just go down. And then they come back. It's like the people that come back and they're like checking their bank account, like, what did we do? But it's so true because it's just one of those things that keeps us from just like
Dang. That
sane
keeps
and like
life
it's a
tolerable.
mental health need. It's a necessity.
Hmm.
It is a necessity. But it's crazy that that amount of our population is like, yeah, I will take on a credit card just to take a vacation and pay that thing off for the next however many years it takes.
Absolutely, and that's why it's so smart that like Affirm and Klarna got into that with Expedia and the other because people can pay off their trip without interest.
Mm-hmm. It's so smart. It's one of the
Hmm.
smartest things that we could do. And it's such a mainstream thing now. It's like you walk into the mall and you see all of these stores doing it. You see, rental car places, you sit at the grocery store, like and again, like it's there's pros and cons, right? Because if you do it enough, like you're basically like a huge chunk of your income every month is just paying all of these like Klarna afterpays. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but it feels like you have more purchasing power, and
Hmm.
you can plan those things when you don't have all of that vacation budget all at once. Plus, it lets you get ahead of it, like you're not waiting until 30, 60 days before you travel to actually reserve something, so
Right.
you
You
get
take
ahead
care
of
of it
it.
in the moment.
Yeah, it's really, I mean, where we're going with it is really, it's necessary with where we are.
Well, I think so too. And just to that point, just what the technology is doing in hospitality now. So
Mhm.
it's as people are increasing their appetite to demand travel, the tech is keeping up with ways for them to be able to travel easier. And that's, that's kind of where it runs with that afterpay and Klarna stuff. But, and the big conversation's always over tourism, right? And, some
Yeah.
countries are doing crazy stuff, but I think we have to take that word, like we take that word out of our vocabulary.
Hmm.
What are
Yeah.
the what are the real symptoms? Is it angry residents? Is it parking? Is it infrastructure? Like look at what the issue is.
Yeah. Well, I think it touches on so many things, and that's why it's all bucketed under this like over tourism umbrella because it's all of those things. Um,
Right.
and it's also, especially internationally, it's a lot of places that are like, I mean, you're talking about like Spain and Italy and countries that have just, like historically, it's there's a lot of sacred areas, you know what I mean? Like areas that have been around a lot longer, than things that we are used to here in the
And in
US.
that case you have to preserve that footprint.
It's a preservation
Right, right.
aspect. Yeah. And it's a lack, I think there's a lot of animosity because there's lack of respect in that way, right? Like you have a lot of people, obviously you're going to have a lot of foot traffic, you're going to have a lot of, things happening especially in these smaller areas where you're going to, when you get like a flood of people, you're going to see the aftermath of that. You're going to see things start to depreciate very quickly, and that country, those residents, the people that live there and preserve that, then that becomes their problem, right? Like I got to figure out how to preserve this.
And that's a much bigger issue. Do you remember our episode with Leon McAnally on the dark tourism for UK?
Yes,
His
yes.
book just came out and hit number one on Amazon.
I saw.
It reminded me of what we discussed with him when you were talking about, the respect and pieces of that too, because there's also, the issue about the respect from the tourism aspect. And I know one of the things
Hmm.
we discussed with him was what went viral when those two teen girls were taking selfies all across the Holocaust Museum. Like,
Hmm.
also, there should be, especially with preservation, there should be some rules, some etiquette, some pieces, and, boot them if
Yeah,
they don't respect.
right. And that just goes back to proper home training, right? Like if you're going to take your teenagers to, like another country and you're going to go to these like, historical sites and these places that are in that sacred category, please have your kid like educate them on ways to,
Don't be the
just
ugly American.
yeah, I think that's where it boils down. And it's like that here in the US. I mean, there's several. I mean, look at the people that go to Yellowstone and try to like, you know, pet the
The
You know what I
geyser.
mean? Like exactly, like just or just there's just a lot of again, because so many more people are traveling, it's just part of the cycle, right? You just have more people doing more things.
But it also
Um,
makes me feel like there could be more know before you go type of marketing communication back to your
right.
potential visitors. Here's something you should know about our town, or this, or that. Like
Mhm.
that would be a good piece. We tend to stop talking to them unless they're buying from us, and we're not servicing them well enough after they buy from us to say, welcome first off, because you're a guest. As a guest, here's some things you should know about our culture or whatever. I mean, that would be to me much more productive production video budget than just, putting
It's
out
great.
random marketing pieces.
I think it also speaks to like the resurgence of investment in a visitor center or just in pop-up areas around your destination that is like education focused, the what to do while you're here, what, how to travel respectfully and how to do things in a destination that does make sense for everyone, like because you're in the midst of people that live there that are traveling there. Like you're just being respectful. But I think that a lot of what we're dealing with all the protests and the quote unquote over tourism conversation. Um,
Yeah, that's completely true.
it is. But did you also hear that? Well, I think you're the one that told me this, that Southwest has got rid of their
They're assigning seats. So also it's perfect. I don't think you read the article, but let me tell you how perfect you just teed this up. They're doing it because of over tourism.
Mm. Well, I kind of thought that that was the direction. And also because it just with us, with just the surge in airfare, just the surge in people flying everywhere and just like blowing budgets, right? Like, who cares? Like, let's just go for it. Why not? As an airline, like, why not find a way to increase that? But yeah, that's crazy. It feels like it's the end of like I don't
It is
know.
kind of an end of an era. And I think about that too. Like
It's
I think about those things like air travel always is though. Like because there was an end of an era like when Drew and I were dating, I could walk him to the gate when he flew off. Obviously that's not a thing
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
Like air travel used to be fun. Like it really did. And now it's so
oh
stressful.
man, yeah, there's so many reports now of just, and it's just flooded the news channels of like just disasters at the airport and how much you should be compensated when you get inconvenienced. And like, did
And
you know that
people,
78% of airfare workers are physically and verbally assaulted or have been? Like
unbelievable.
they suffer through it.
I would never, never. Actually, on the last flight I was on, when I was coming back, I think from San Francisco, I don't think I told you this. I didn't pull my phone out fast enough, but I saw a Karen in the wild.
Did you?
She was, she was yelling at that flight attendant about, I don't want to hear that baby. You need to move that baby from yelling. I mean, it was a
Yeah, I
whole
can't stand
thing.
people I can't stand people with the babies. Like if you can't handle a child on a plane, you have much bigger problems that you need to deal with. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, I didn't.
Um,
I didn't pull my phone out. She was behind me, a couple of rows behind me, and there was like the dude beside me. He was like getting his little phone out. I almost said text it to me because this woman was going off.
it's just it's so unnecessary. And that's I think that becomes you part of your experience, right? Like everybody on the plane now has the experience of the lady yelling because she had a screaming baby on the plane. And so that's what gets people like, I feel anxious when I fly. I used to really like be able to go to the airport and I would always get there early because I'm already anxious about, making the flight and
Yeah,
but now I'm over, like, I get on the plane anxious. I get off the plane anxious. I'm waiting for my bag anxious because it doesn't feel simple anymore. It feels exhausting.
it's not. It's really not. And honestly, road trips aren't that better because you have so much else to deal with a road trip as well. Plus, it sure as
Uh,
hell ain't cheaper anymore.
no, it really isn't. But people are still doing it because, I mean, what choice do you have, right? Until they create teleportation devices.
I mean, I'm open.
Be in Fiji right now. Boop. I mean, at some point we need to get another option, but right now we don't have any other options, and it just feels like I don't know. To me, I think because of the time
Mhm.
situation, just being on a schedule, being on my own schedule, it feels easier to put bags in the car and like leave on my terms, go as fast as I need to, stop when I need to. It's not a whole lot easier, but it definitely feels like it's more on your own terms, you know? Yeah, but yeah, the whole situation with airfare, I have saw so many, and I think it had to do a lot with Southwest's announcement, and then I saw the stat about
Abstract thing, yeah.
airfare workers. Yeah, and there was, and then also, last week, or was it the week before, we had the issue with the tech issue with the whole
Abstract.
entire system. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, my gosh.
It's been a lot. Oh, by the way, speaking of Southwest, too, another thing, when they crowd strike, you know why it didn't bother Southwest? Because
Why?
they're still running their systems on Windows 3.1.
Oh my
And that's
goodness.
not like a meme, that's not a joke. They literally have not updated their systems since the mid 90s. So Southwest didn't crash off of CrowdStrike because they haven't updated their computer since 1993, apparently.
That's going to be the same with my computer. You can't hack my computer. I haven't updated it in like 3 years.
Oh my.
It's fun because it's scary. There's so many things. I get literally totally going off topic here, but I swear every other day I get a letter in the mail or an
Mhm.
email saying that my information has been compromised. And then I'll start getting all of these text messages about health insurance and so and so realtor, like trying to figure out if I still live at this address. And I'm like, geez, man, like it really is a lot right now. It's a
Yeah,
lot.
when they leak the information, I don't fear a scammer as much as I fear the marketers. Honestly,
Yes.
like I could shut a scammer down, I could lock my account, I could do whatever, but I can't stop them from texting me from this one or that one or the other.
No, and they come at all hours of the night. The other day, I got one in the middle of the night, and it was from somebody in the UK trying to sell me leads. And it was like 2 in the morning. And I woke up in a panic. Like you see your phone light up, and you're thinking it's an emergency, like something's happened, like I was so mad. I spent like the next 3 or 4 hours just laying there going, what in the world? I can't go back to sleep now. But that is what we're dealing with. And so,
Mm.
yeah, anyway,
Yeah, and
I
that actually brings something else in mind I was reading about that talking about the text messages, like text marketing is now becoming really ineffective because of all the spam.
mm-hmm.
And it
Because yeah.
doesn't matter what you sign up for too, plus because it's election year. I don't know if you're getting those, but I counted
Hmm.
mine up over the weekend. I got no less than 30 texts on Saturday and 30 texts on Sunday from people I've never voted for, I've never donated to, I've never anything.
Your number's on the list, baby.
I'm on
It's
that
in
list.
it's on you're on the list. Oh, it makes you want to go to a different country. I'm just like, take me out of here. Um,
It'll be
no, but
interesting to see how the over tourism starts to, as we get to the holiday season. Of course, most people, friends and family, but once we come off the election, I think we're going to see a drastic hit for just a short period of time.
mhm, I could
Domestic,
see.
short, I think short trips domestically may be a problem, but then we get back into Thanksgiving, holidays. I think we'll see back the normalcy and we'll be back right back up.
Right. Yeah. But I did see, and what I think is really cool is the amount of shorter trips, smaller excursions that people are willing to take that are foodie based, like food, like the whole idea of traveling, like we'll travel for food is like a serious thing right now. And
You
I'm talking
are
like
not
simple things.
simple things, and I'll give you an example. So Drew, my husband, those of you listening, not a big foodie, but still like he's a barbecue man, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
there's one place, and I'll forget the name of it, and Dakota will probably kill me because I should know, but there's one place where they do the ribs, and one rib is as big as my head. Like one. He's like, I'm gonna
Oh
go
my.
there. He didn't care about like he's not like, oh, let's go to Austin so we can see our daughter in her new house. He's like, I need to go have that rib.
It's true. I mean, you'll be in the car for hours just to go have that like breakfast taco at that one place, or like that burger at that one. And people are willing to do it. I think it's the idea that you can get your travel out of the way, right? You're not going and trying to spend an exorbitant amount of money and like paying a resort fee and all that. you're really just going for a simple experience, but you're still getting away for a minute. And who doesn't want to go eat? You know what I'm saying? Like there's but it's like the best of both worlds. But literally having like little mini excursions, like thinking about as a destination, right?
Mhm.
All the little simple places that people can go. Just little stops, a taco here, a certain type of drink here, a burger here, whatever that is. But thinking about the most popular spots and then reaching people in like a 3 to 4 hour radius and saying, you could drive here in a day, you could have the best burger in the state, like,
I
and then
think
you
that's
can
why
go.
the trails did so well, for a little while. But now I think about it, they need to be more curated. Like a taco trail is great,
Yes,
but I'm not
yes,
eating a taco every day. I like tacos, I like burgers, I like steaks. Like I want
right.
something. If my
Hmm.
experience is staying in that destination is 3 or 4 days, I want the best in every kind of category.
Or like if you're going, like it's a 24-hour trip, right? Like you're going to leave, you're going to go in the afternoon, you're going to stay the evening. So maybe it's a do your best lunch here, your best dinner thing here, your brunch, and then you're back on the road. And it's like it's all about the food, but it's not this crazy like planning,
Yeah,
that you have to put into it. I just feel like it's a simpler idea to really capitalize on that drive market traffic, get people into these restaurants because obviously they're going, right? Like you're driving in for the food, but it's a huge, like the foodie tourism I feel like it's going to continue to grow no
it
matter.
is. And one note about that I really like with the foodie travel piece is it's not always about the aesthetics. They're not saying send me to the fanciest restaurant, the most
No, it could be a
gorgeous.
hole in the
They're
wall.
like, does that gas station have a good barbecue sandwich? I'm gonna stop over there. It's okay.
It's about what people rave about. It's
And I
about
think
what people are raving about.
and
Yeah.
it is those mom and pops. It's those
Uh-huh.
smaller. The restaurant industry is really driving to this appetite for food travel is propping up mixed use retail, which is still
It
hurting.
really is. It really is. And I feel like the surge of the TikTok, just the whole social era that we've been in. But because it's so much easier for a restaurant owner, a mom and pop, to go and start a TikTok, right? And then put a TikTok out there or be on
Oh
Instagram,
yeah.
they're able to do more of that homegrown organic marketing. And that is what people are want to see. They want to
We'll
see.
run with it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They'll
How
love
many
it. They'll run with it.
businesses, and I wonder if there's a stat for this, but I wonder how many businesses have been saved because they got on social and did more of the social thing, right? More reels, more organic content, and
I'll
let
give
that
you
stuff go
one.
viral.
I'll give
Yeah.
you one on that. It wasn't the restaurants themselves, it was the DMO. So Lake Charles did that.
Mm-hmm.
After COVID, a couple of, I think it was a donut shop, I want to say they did that for. Mom and pop just got started, didn't even know how to do marketing. They show up with their camera, they put it on TikTok, it went viral. And I don't know if that saved their business as much as it like launched their business. And that was a
Yeah.
DMO, just going in there for some content.
Man, and you see all these stories too about these little shops. I've seen a few of them where they're just like posting like I know one, I couldn't remember, it was a little taco joint somewhere, but the owner or the owner's son took a video of her just sitting behind the counter, kind of waiting for customers to come in, and the place was
Aw.
empty. And he was like, my mom works so hard, she makes such great food, I hate people flooded that place. When I say that it was like, we got no more tacos, we got no more tacos. Like,
Aw.
that is the social, that's why social works.
It's
That's
good
what
when it,
it's meant to do. Yeah.
that's
So
what it's meant to do, but yes, it does the other
yes.
too.
But also, have you heard about some of the age restrictions they're putting in at restaurants now,
Mm-mm.
especially ones that serve alcohol? So this has become like more mainstream. There's more conversation about it, but restaurants are putting age restrictions, especially if they're open a little bit later. Some restaurants kind of turn into more of like an after,
Yeah.
dinner sort of vibe, but they're putting restrictions where you have to be like 25 and up or 30 and up to go to that restaurant because of the amount of younger newly licensed, drinkers who are causing a lot of ruckus at restaurants and that stuff going on social and then people going, I've seen what that looks like. I don't really want to go there. Or kind of dragging the atmosphere down,
Mhm.
literally putting age restrictions. There's pros and cons, I feel like, but how do you turn like the 21 and up? Like how do you turn that around? It's never going to be 25 and up or 30. Like it just would feel so confusing to walk into a place as like a 24-year-old and be like, yeah, you have to be 25 and be like, what? What?
Yeah,
Just seems weird. So many more people are doing it. And because of the amount of tip etiquette, these younger generation, our this generation now, they're not leaving the amount of tip, like the amount of percentage that the older demographics
well,
leaving.
see,
And so they're doing it for their staff or
I'm gonna
whatnot.
I'm gonna make an argument for the younger people on this because first off, how can they afford to tip? Like, come on, look at the economy we have them in. Number one,
Right.
they're probably
Yeah.
doing what they can. Um, but also, like, I just don't like the general age thing. It feels very much, and I know there's still plenty of restaurants that do this, but it feels very much like you need a coat and tie. Like, here, I'll give you our coat and tie that's been sitting in that closet for 20 years, never been laundered. But it feels like that. It feels like putting on airs for no real apparent
Mhm.
reason.
Mhm.
And if we don't embrace, and I think about this like when I raise kids too. So a lot of people don't take their little kids to restaurants because how little kids act. I'm the complete opposite. If you take them out,
Mhm.
if you put them in the environment where they need to act accordingly, then they'll learn their manners that way. But if they've never been there, guess what? When they're 21, you don't want them in that restaurant.
No. And where are the school districts that still do etiquette classes or like teach our kids
Ours
etiquette? 'Cause
does.
my kids' school don't do that. They don't do that here. And I don't think we've ever had that in Texas. I don't remember ever having that growing
I
up.
didn't. I didn't, but you
Because we
know,
need that. Because we need that. We need help in the etiquette
they
department.
actually have. It's so funny. They have a class in this junior high the girls are going to now. It's called Life Sciences, but it's
Mhm.
not what you think. Like they teach them how to balance a checkbook, which I know is an old term, but they actually teach them like a little bit of finance, manners, and main like how to take care of yourself, how to do laundry. It's kind of like home ec, but with like there's
Love
even
that.
there's even one in there about your self confidence in building your future goals.
Shoot, they need to adopt that across the board.
I'm
Because,
I'm excited for that one. Yeah, at the end of the school year, they get to fill out their own taxes.
wow. Can they do mine too?
I was thinking the same thing. Who did your taxes? My
What
12-year-old.
tax benefits did you bring home today?
No, but they're starting to. I know all school districts are different, but I thought that one was really interesting, and they need to. But yeah, with the age restrictions, I wonder what that's gonna do.
Well, I
Because
feel like it causes confusion, and I think a lot of it is because there's so many, like there's this, and you see this in the Airbnb commercials. I've seen it in other ones too, and it's basically like this vibe where if you're not bringing your own kids, you don't want to be around someone else's kids, or if you're not like if you're going out with
oh yeah, that's the
and
hotel commercial.
yeah, you don't want to be around younger kids, hooting and
Hmm.
hollering with a lot more energy, I guess. But I feel like it's going to cause confusion. And also, it feels a little bit like, I don't know, it's discriminatory. Like, I know that my 24-year-old would act probably more mature than most 30 to 35-year-olds. Like, I feel
Yeah,
like so I don't know. I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But
I'm
I feel
just
like it's a lot more of the adult only, kind of like the resorts are doing now with a lot more adult only options and things. So who knows?
But I just feel like they got to think about that because I think that's the cancel culture environment. Like, what do we ban? How do we get rid of this instead of
Hmm.
how do we curate something better? Because the problem is they're getting rid of 25 and under, and millennials don't even want to leave the house anymore. So they're kind of
Yeah. Yep.
they get
DoorDash and Uber Eats and all of those things are like number one at this point, I think. But,
Yeah.
oh, what a year we're in. And
It
who
is a
knows
crazy
where we're
year.
going to be by the end of the year with everything we've got for the rest of 24. And then we kickstart 2025, which sounds insane.
Futuristic, doesn't it?
I don't even know what to do with that information. It just feels like, I don't know. I don't know. It's really weird to me.
I feel like we aren't far enough along. Like in my mind, 2025 was like not what it is. In my mind, we'd already be at the Jetsons age. Like we're
Well,
just now
I
getting
know,
an AI.
right?
I always thought
It's
we'd be.
weird. It is weird because, and I was thinking about this the other day because when I first took Alicia to kindergarten,
Mhm.
her graduation year was 2026. Like they had that like future 2026. And I thought, oh my God, that's so far away. Like where would we be? Girl, we're almost at 2026. And I think
I,
about that. And I'm like, it's just mind-boggling, really.
yes, and it's so quick. Jackson had one of those little rubber wristbands from school the other day. It's in class of 2030. I'm like, how long is she going to be in school? And not realizing that's only 6 years from now.
It's real quick. It's about to be here in about 10 more minutes. About as quick as our weekends go.
Pretty much. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out of, if this appetite for travel continues, what's going to happen with economy, with jobs, like all of that's going to make a play. But, um, everything I've seen looks real, real strong for everybody. And as we spoke about over tourism, so if you're not seeing good occupancy rates, maybe it's you.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think too, I wonder just going back to to people who are willing to go into debt to travel. And you know how often we want to travel, right? Like what is that going to do to our economy at some point? Like at some point, we can only have so much debt,
Well, they're
right?
erasing student debt. Think they'll erase travel debt?
I don't know. I mean, let me know ahead of
Okay,
time. I'll go
that's
ahead and rack it up now.
that's the platform I'm going to run on.
I mean, we can get Amex on the horn. I don't know. Expedia travel. I mean, let's just like yeah. I mean, you're about to be at a big board meeting this week with some big old travel head honchos. Maybe you can put a few words in.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited about that. Yeah. Well, that'll be my first time meeting up for the Cultural Heritage Economic Alliance, which is really to help, as we talked about those small businesses, really helping those small DEIA, black and brown businesses get their share in the destination. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
big passion project for me. It'll be fun. And I'll see you later in the week then.
Hey, and maybe our next podcast will be in person instead of virtual.
Maybe we'll just go live.
Maybe we should. Let's
Feeling
go.
cute, might go live. Awesome. Well,
Oh,
we hope you guys have a great week and enjoyed our little
yes.
rambles.
Our rambles and banter.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye.